You're not good enough.
When I'm not.
The pink ain't pink enough.
When the pink ain't pink enough.
TNMP, the Nerdy Misfit Podcast, with your hosts, Connor O'Neill and Matthew Hughes.
What is up, Matthew?
Hello.
And fellow Nerdy Misfits.
What's up?
We're here another Wednesday or whenever day you're listening on this Nerdy Misfit podcast.
Ends in a Y.
That's the best day to watch the Nerdy Misfit podcast, honestly.
Exactly.
Now on YouTube, kind of.
Mostly. Sometimes. The average,
Sometimes.
We're
trying to be better.
We got some video content coming out with the episodes sometimes. So,
Sometimes.
Yeah, that's a thing.
Yeah. Check us out on YouTube. Subscribe. Ring the bell.
YouTube.
But how's your day going, Matt?
It's going pretty good. Pretty busy day. Had a little job interview earlier today.
That's exciting.
And we've been working on some other Nerdy Misfit stuff.
How did your job interview go?
Freaking nailed it. Better than I expected. Went in for one position and got offered another position while in the interview.
Well, there you go.
So,
Can't
pretty
complain
dang
about that.
good. So, I'm super excited. I mean, well, by the time this episode comes out, I'll be working there for a few weeks already.
Hopefully it's going well.
Hopefully.
Future Matt.
Hopefully, to future Matt, that it's going well and you haven't goofed up yet. But I'm super excited about that. Other than that, yeah, just had to do some more prep for an upcoming session I got with my Power Ranger RPG. For those who don't know, this has been about 7 months since we last really mentioned this on the podcast.
It's been a hot minute, but it's been a busy time.
It's been a busy year so far, honestly. I feel like a lot of things have happened.
Lots going on, lots of job stuff for you that's taken up a lot of time.
International projects, podcasts, short films. It's been a lot. But, we managed to squeeze one in last night.
And they loved it.
And they freaking loved it. And the thing that makes Power Rangers RPG, or depending on the RPG you're doing, even in D&D, anything, is that you usually have like your full party of people, right? But the way I look at it with the Power Ranger one, if not everyone's available, as much as you don't want to exclude anyone, you can still run a session. Right?
Oh, yeah, that's fair.
As long as the last session ends on a part that you can do some type of skip of some sort, which session 2 that we did 6 months ago ended, nice little, not a perfect ending, but no, it ended. So then this session opened up with a nice 3-4 week break, skipped a couple weeks, school's back in session soon. And yeah, without going into too much detail, because I could ramble on for a while, but we'll save that for more an RPG based episode because we're doing another session tomorrow night. So we'll save that for now.
But you're going to be ready for that?
I'm have to be.
Is this part of the learning experience of being a game master that maybe you should have said no?
Sir, 100%.
Okay.
So I really don't know because last night's session ended up being 2.5 hours, almost 3 hours. Don't really know what's going to happen for tomorrow night. I have it right now about an hour planned in my head. But I think sometimes, smaller session is not necessarily a bad session.
No, and the other thing is you never know what journey your players might take you on.
Correct.
But
like hitting an ostrich with a mallet.
I think as a game master, an hour is an acceptable session. If that is all you have that can be planned and you don't have what's planned, I think it is a totally acceptable time to be like, hey, we're calling it here so I can do some prep for the next session.
Exactly.
So, but I mean, as long as everyone's enjoying it, that's what matters.
Yeah, I mean,
we talked about it multiple times and with Tim, where the important part is everyone's having fun.
Exactly. And I only had 3 out of 5 players with me last night, but they've defeated one of the monsters really quickly, and then the other monster kind of handed it to them a little bit. One of my characters right now, one of the Rangers has a broken hand, the other one's blinded because of the dirt and hay that was around them, and the other one's a little heartbroken. And yeah, the last session just ended with one of the civilians they were trying to protect just gets trapped by one of the monsters and they teleport away. And one of my players was heartbroken by the fact that that's how the session ended. And I think that kind of reassures me that I'm doing at least
they're invested.
Job. Yeah, I have my players invested of oh, this is insane. Because the thing is that for those who don't know, I have only ever GM'd this game. And that would have been my 3rd time being the game master. And I'm slowly getting more and more confident with it. But session 1 went okay. That one went sideways. We ended up killing a teacher by accident because they couldn't find a way to help him. And what I've noticed is that you can't really come prepared. You can try and railroad, which I'm not necessarily the biggest fan of. Obviously, if you have the way you need your story to go for obvious reasons, then you got to railroad your players a little bit.
Yeah, for sure.
But I think with me, I'm like, you know what? This could be an ending. But it never ends that way, does it?
No, it never do.
And the heart of the dice, never a good sign for a lot of my players. I feel like all of the players I have just have terrible dice rolling.
Yeah, based on the stories I've heard, it sounds like
They got cursed dice.
Yeah, for real. It sounds like everyone needs to buy a new set
Honestly.
because they are not lucky at all.
No.
Anytime where they even remotely need something to go their way, it does not.
Nothing. But they always get lucky in the most randomest things. Ostrich race, rolls a nat 20, wins the race. Cool. Needs to throw a hammer for the mallet game, 1. Ends up going through a crowd, hitting an ostrich. You never know what's going to happen with this.
You really can't tell.
Especially when it comes to just a Power Ranger RPG. There's not really... On YouTube, there's only 2 groups that have done a campaign online, so I can't even look at that stuff for inspiration. Even Reddit, like there's not a large amount of like inspiration to be like, this is what it is, this is what it shouldn't be, you know?
There's not a subreddit for just the Power Ranger RPG?
There probably is, but there's not, like I haven't went down that rabbit hole a lot.
You haven't dived yet.
You know,
Dived
not
down
until
it.
I run out of ideas.
Okay, fair enough.
Which, you know, session 4 tomorrow, I presume by session, if I get this far, like session 8 or 9, then it's probably when I'm going to jump in the rabbit hole.
That's fair.
Because by then, right now, as it stands right now, there is the core rulebook, there's an adventure guide, there's a new source book that just came out about space travel and new alien races and stuff. And then there's a small little mini campaign that you get with the game screen. And then the only other book that's out so far is the crossover with the Essence 20 system, which explains how you can cross over your Power Ranger RPG with your G.I. Joe RPG, with your Transformers RPG, with your My Little Pony RPG.
I'll be honest, none of that interests me.
No. I mean, Transformers a little bit, but
Maybe, yeah.
G.I. Joe I've never had an interest in. My Little Pony never had an interest in.
Yeah, I feel like I would just stick to Power. No sense in overcomplicating it.
No, exactly. Like, would it be cool to fight Megatron at one point? Maybe.
Yeah, maybe
but I don't
you can bring in something as a villain, but other than that, you don't. I feel like crossing, like having someone randomly be a Transformer in your party of Power Rangers.
Yeah,
that sounds.
It turns out they're part of the G.I. Joe program. Like it's just.
It sounds weird.
Yeah, so I'm gonna stay away from that. And then later this year we get another source book coming out, and then we get Finster's Monster Manual, which is like one of the villains from the OG Mighty Morphin that created all the monsters.
Okay.
So I'm excited for that book.
Content's still coming out, which is nice.
Yeah, they're still big, still popular.
Supported.
You can get there's boxes for minis and
which
stuff.
Definitely makes me believe that there 100% is some content on Reddit for you to find.
Oh,
because
yeah,
if it's got to be popular enough that they want to keep making extras for it. So,
but it's mostly been a homebrew for me. Like I haven't.
Yeah, I mean, hey, everyone's enjoying it. That's what, like I said, that's what matters. For us, actually, we are working on trying to get a date.
Ooh.
To start our sessions back up. I feel like I need to go through all of my notes and relearn my character. It's been
a hot minute.
It's been a long while. And this is one of the downsides of RPGs, tabletop RPGs, which is when you have a good flow going, it's good. You know, when a system is working, you know, whether you do it monthly, weekly, whatever it is, and people are all showing up, you're hitting it. But then life gets in the way, and then it really does throw a wrench in things.
It does.
Because then it's no longer a matter of, I don't have the time to plan the sessions, for example, for our DM. Busy doing life.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, then it comes to the matter of, okay, well, other people start planning stuff. We're in the summer now where a lot of people might have things going on. Got to plan around people's potential vacations or going up north, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, it's a lot.
And it's now harder. You want to get everyone together, but that becomes a lot more difficult. So, hoping to have a session early August. We'll see what happens, see how people are feeling. Hopefully we get back into it. Just because we've created this lore of the world and we're in the same world, just in the, we're in the future now, 100 years or whatever it is. So I really like the idea of keeping the spirit of the original campaign, like within the same lore of what's happening.
Yeah. Keep it alive.
But that makes it more complicated for the DM, of course. But we'll see. I'll definitely update when we end up having the session and say how it goes. On top of that, by this time when this episode comes out, we'll be pretty close to halfway through,
if not more. Yeah.
of the anime season. Which, is there anything that's been sticking out for you? I know that you made a short on Zom 100.
Yeah, and by the time this episode comes out, in theory, which is what I'm hoping for, is I don't know. I was gonna ask your opinion on this, Connor, but like, should I do like a TikTok per Zom episode? Like, you think that's too much? I don't know. Because my original idea for the TikToks was I was just gonna do like a first episode review of some of them.
Yeah, I think a first episode or first 3 episodes for some of them. If you can't, and then maybe only a one at the end of the season talking about
like halfway
favorites.
Yeah. That could make sense, yeah. Anyways, so Zom 100 is the one I'm like actively excited for every Sunday when it comes out, which is Zom 100 Bucket List of the Dead or For the Dead. And there's only been 3 episodes as of we're recording this episode. And honestly, animation is clean. The intro and outro song, pretty good bangers. I love the use of color in the. Have you seen Zom 100 at all?
I've seen episode 1. Yeah, okay. The colors, it's very vibrant.
Yeah. And the way I
for a zombie show.
Yeah, exactly.
Which, when you think of live action zombie shows, it's the opposite.
Exactly.
Very gray.
Yeah, they've done a very nice color scheme. And I talk about this in the TikTok, but if you're a fan of Zombieland and you like anime, I would recommend giving this because it gives me Zombieland vibes. Where it's just like casual dude hates his life kind of thing. Zombie apocalypse happened, and his first thing is just to drink beer. He's like, I'm just going to go find some beer. And you're like, okay, cool. Supporting characters, like character that gets introduced in episode 2, I'm very intrigued by them because they seem very parallel with the main character where they're both just kind of like vibing and they both kind of have like their own little list kind of thing. But I'm excited. Anyways, so Zom 100, that's going to be the one that I'm watching. Another one is as a joke, but not a joke. I'm going to watch the vending machine one just to give it a try because I'm curious.
Okay, the vending machine.
Which is reborn as a vending machine, and now I wander the dungeon.
Okay.
And then I think the only other one that I'm going to jump on right away is the marriage one, which I can't remember exactly what it's called here. Let me pull it up here.
The one with the cat. The house cat. That is a humanoid. That's not a marriage one, though.
Yeah, not that one. Oh, my gosh. My Happy Marriage. That's the one.
Where is that one on? Netflix?
Netflix, yeah, but I think it's also on Crunchyroll as well.
Okay.
But it's very much a slice of lifey thing. I mean, based on the title, My Happy Marriage.
Yeah.
Sure. But anyways, what are you watching yet so far this season? What do you think of this season so far?
I think this season has a lot of sequels.
Yes, which is a big thing, which is kind of a pain for someone who hasn't watched
Jujutsu Kaisen has been straight fire so far. Definitely enjoying that. Animation style has changed, like the art style has changed, but it's still been really solid. Been enjoying it. Great arc. The 2 arcs that it will end up covering will be great.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely some of the probably the 2 favorites from the series for me personally. And they're covering it in 1 season. Well, 2 seasons. It's a 2-core.
Yeah.
It's a 23 episode season. But it'll be covering both those arcs, which is cool to see. Bleach has started back up. For the most part, they've kept the quality. I don't know if it's quite to the same tier or level that Studio P had the first, but it's pretty close. Mm-hmm. And hopefully they keep delivering. Mushoku Tensei, I haven't seen season 1. It's on my to watch list. I just have not gotten to it, but I know people love that show. We'll see one day maybe. It's on the dreaded watch list.
Yeah.
Seen Zom 100, the first step. Definitely enjoyed it. It was a solid first step. I think it's a really good first step to
get you into the
We talk
world,
about
I guess.
3 episodes, the 3-episode tribe, but this is one of those shows that gets you in the first episode. It doesn't need 3 episodes to hook you in. It does a good job on the first step.
Right away. I agree.
And then I've also seen the episodes of Rurouni Kenshin, which have been pretty solid. No complaints from me on that.
Okay.
That's like a older shonen manga. But other than that, I haven't hopped on the Reddit actually as of late to see
how people are
if there's
feeling.
any other hidden gems that people are discussing or loving. I think I saw, the only thing I did see was there was some like I'm not gonna call it underground hype, but some hype towards the what was the name of the show? The girl I like forgot her glasses.
Okay.
Don't know how serious it is, if it were just memes, but I've definitely seen some stuff covering that.
Okay.
So maybe I'll give that a couple episodes try. It's, when you're busy and doing stuff, it's really hard to pick up multiple series. It's like you really need to almost pick up
like 2 or 3.
And you just call it. Yeah, pick the 3. Maybe you pick up one later in the game.
Yeah,
and
if
just
you got
binge
extra
the whole
time,
thing.
yeah.
Yeah, go on Reddit and you're like, oh, people are loving this show. I'll binge, I'll binge it and then you finish it at the end, the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, exactly.
But also, as of recently, the episode would have already been out, but I watched Secret Invasion.
Yep.
Which was one of the first Marvel shows I ended up watching before it ended.
Which is crazy, isn't that? That's
Actually, I watched it before Matt.
You watched before I finished, even, which is crazy to think.
Which was all right. So obviously, you have the in-depth review by both Matt and I, our episode that's already been out. So check that out if you haven't already. But I enjoyed that series. It wasn't not my favorite MCU content, but it also wasn't bad to say. So
yeah.
So had that. What else have I? I haven't watched it yet, but I'm right up there. Is the Titans season got put on Netflix for Teen Titans?
Oh yeah, the final season. Yeah.
So I haven't watched that yet, but that is like high on the to watch list.
Especially with it being the final season.
Well, and I'm like we've talked about on the podcast.
You genuinely enjoyed it, did you?
I did end up liking the show a lot more as the seasons went on. So hopefully they ended strong. I still want a better version of Titans, but I feel like this is probably the best we're gonna get for a while. So
yeah, I also agree with that.
Gotta take what I can get.
True. You can't argue with that.
What else? Watching wise, nothing else. Watching wise, obviously, as of recording this right now, we are heading towards an MCU movie.
Yep.
As of this episode coming out, potentially it's already out, but our thoughts on it probably isn't.
No.
It's really hard when we're recording and we're a little ahead.
Prepping a little bit.
We're ahead of the game.
Yeah.
Got some vacation time coming up, so won't be able to record. So we're trying to get ahead of the game. But that is the Marvels.
How
are you feeling about it?
I mean, it
looks interesting.
I'm a little worried because this is the first big MCU movie that's bringing
it's crossing over the TV
shows to the movies. Not just for like one character, but like Monica Rambeau is from I think that's her name. Monica Rambeau. Anyway, I think it's her name. She's the character from the WandaVision show that is one of the main characters, and you have Ms. Marvel coming into this as well.
And then Captain Marvel from
the main
movie universe.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's just like I don't want to say it's ballsy, but it's ballsy in a way because you're almost expecting your audience to be like, oh, you've seen the MC, you've definitely watched, so you already know all about these characters.
It's starting to, I think.
For some reason,
we can get into it a little bit. Is the MCU becoming too complicated, or have we already passed that line?
I think we're past that line, and the reason I say that is because they could have the time skip or whatever, the end of Endgame, and you and I've talked about this too, where we were at a soft reboot, and they could have kept going with that feel, And maybe this Marvels could do that, where maybe she passes the torch on to Ms. Marvel and kind of dips for some reason, or
she's always dipping.
I know Captain Marvel's always dipping; it's her shtick. But I think there's a lot of potential. But again, Captain Marvel's never been a character I know too much about when it comes to comics, even other than the fact that she used to call herself Ms. Marvel with the black costume with the yellow lightning bolt. She was in the '90s cartoon for a bit. That's why Rogue could fly.
Yay, Rogue.
And then X-Men stuff.
That's favorite.
Heck yeah. And then I read Civil War 2.
I didn't like Civil War 2.
It was not that good.
I didn't like it.
But that's a whole other episode. But I think it's just kind of, I don't have anything against the characters. They're just not like my main characters where I'm like, yeah. We'll see.
I kind of agree with that. They're not my favorite character. I will say I did enjoy, and we talked about it, but I did enjoy Ms. Marvel more than I thought I was going to.
No, for sure.
I thought, but the reason I liked it is because it worked for a TV show.
Mm-hmm.
We'll have to see how she does in the movie.
I just think, because I don't know how serious this movie's going to be. Is it going to be...
Definitely seemed heavy on the
comedic...
based on the trailer. Like a lot of comedic. Because Captain Marvel is so much more serious, right?
Yeah.
And then we have a girl that's fangirling over Captain Marvel. Some crazy mutant. You can't see Matt, but he is cringing every time I say that.
I think they changed it in the comics, too, because she's joining the X-Men.
Yeah!
And no.
She's officially a mutant.
I don't want it to happen. No, I'm kidding. It's whatever. I'm out of the comics. But hey, I've been reading more comics recently.
Oh, yeah. You've been reading comics.
Yeah.
What are some of your... What are you reading? How are they?
I mean, not bad. I was actually, after today, I was going to find out that there's a new Batman Beyond series.
Oh,
I'm like,
boy.
Should I get it? Should I not get it? Otherwise, I'm just reading Shazam and Green Lantern. And I don't know if there's any new Marvel #1s coming out. If there is, maybe I'll... See, the downfall of Marvel. Love Marvel. Don't get me wrong. And DC has the same issue, too, where they love to just cross over everything. Like, everything's got to be a crossover, you know?
Got to sell other stuff, Matt.
I know. I get it. But, it looks like we have an all-new Marvel .1, which means a soft reboot's got to be coming out, I think.
Yeah, I feel like there's way too many reboots. And I get it. You want to make things easier for people to read. But then it feels bad if you're someone who actually is constantly reading and then it's constantly getting these soft reboots or full reboots. Mm-hmm.
But it looks like Silk has her own series again, so that would be fun.
Cool character.
Yeah. Oh, we talked about the fact that Dan Slott coming back.
Yes, Dan Slott coming back. That's right. For Spider-Verse 2.
Well, Spider-Verse 2, but also Superior.
Oh,
Remember?
I did see the
You sent me that, yeah.
The Superior Spider-Man. Do we need 2s of some of these stuff, though?
No, I thought Superior kind of was just like, it ended well.
It's giving me Batman Eternal 2 vibes.
That's what I'm slightly scared about. I still do need
one was successful, and you're like, okay, that was good, but you don't have to try it again.
No.
Yeah. Comics-wise, I started reading some stuff. Actually, I have a backlog of things that Matt has lent me.
Yep.
So I've been working through some of them, which is Spider-Man Bloodline.
Yeah,
which is the J.J. Abrams written one. House of X, which is very confusing.
X, Power of X, yep.
Very confusing story. I think I'm about a quarter of the way through it.
Yeah, that one...
I feel like if you don't have a bunch of X-Men lore in your brain...
It's a little hard
It becomes a little bit more complicated.
Yes, and yeah. Well, even with me, I think I read that 3 times to fully understand it. Because the thing about that is, for those who don't know, it's called House of X, Power of X, which is 10 issues, and it has to do with a character we've known so much about, Maura McTaggart, and how she fits into everything.
Important.
Where I don't know where you are, so I don't know what to spoil it for you. But
needless to say, it's a big story within the X-Men universe.
It's a big soft reboot for the X-Men in general.
Okay. And then we've talked about it, but I'm reading Batman Curse of the White Knight, which is the direct sequel to
Jumps a Year,
which has been great. It's definitely kept up the level.
Yeah.
I feel like we talked about it, how there's all these rules in place, and you can tell that there's structure. But
it's good.
Yes, there's a good structure to this universe, but it doesn't feel like railroaded.
No.
Right? Like the story still feels good.
I was genuinely surprised. Like the more the story went on, the more I was like, "Oh, that's interesting." Like you didn't know where it was going.
Yeah, I agree.
Because I don't know where you are when it comes to reading that, but by the end of that one, you're like, "Oh, that's an interesting different take on the lore of what we know."
Which is great because that's what they introduced in the first one, right?
Yeah.
It was a different... It's a crazy that a hero can be out for, 100 years?
Yeah, almost.
And there's still people that can take that character, take some of the villains, etc., and do something different, do something unique.
Exactly.
It reminds me a lot of Scott Snyder's run on the New 52, where you feel like a lot of Batman has been explored.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Court of Owls came out of nowhere.
Scott and Greg introduced a whole world that exists within Gotham that has never been touched. Yep. Right? Because Court isn't as simple as just introducing Talon.
No.
Right? Just this villain.
Yeah, you can introduce a villain and
you're
carry
introducing
on.
this whole underground society that's webs
Been connected.
affect so many things within the Batman universe. We're talking about like stuff affecting Dick, or where Dick, if things just went slightly different, he could have been Talon. Right?
Like it added new lore to the pre-existing, and it was good.
It was good lore, yeah. So I've definitely been enjoying those. Been watching the anime, like I said. Have I watched a movie recently? Oh, I haven't seen it as of yet, but I'm pretty sure by the time this comes out, I would have seen Oppenheimer and the Barbie movie.
Have you seen those yet? Or right now?
Haven't seen them right now, but
Okay.
as of when this gets released, I will have seen them.
Nice.
They are high on the to-do list. Not that it's something that is surprisingly, something that for once is not in our Nerdy Misfit wheelhouse.
Exactly. But
still,
I
big
have
movies.
seen one of them. I've seen the Barbie movie.
Seems to have made the most money so far.
Definitely, which is not surprised. It actually just passed, fun fact, it just passed a record surpassing The Dark Knight as like a big box office weekend thing.
Oh.
Which is crazy. But it kind of makes sense. I mean, when I was there, the theater was packed, and that was on the Monday, like a few days after the movie got released.
Were
and
you
the
wearing
hype
a pink
was there.
shirt?
Sure was.
Of course.
I had to. The funny thing is, so the people I went, I was wearing a pink flannel, like pink line flannel, because those who know me, I got my flannels, right? And they were like, it's not pink enough.
Wow.
So we were at the local mall where the movie theater is. So I went to one of the stores, quickly bought a brand new pink T-shirt so I wouldn't get yelled at by the people I was going with.
When you're not good enough.
When I'm not,
The pink ain't pink enough.
when the pink ain't pink enough. I honestly thought it was a pretty solid film. A lot of great acting. There was a good amount of Easter eggs for different like pop culture references.
Okay.
And I think as Canadians, we just got to support the Canadian cast because of half the main cast, half of them are from Canada.
Oh, really?
Ryan Gosling's from Canada. Simu Liu, who's Shang-Chi, he's from Mississauga.
I didn't know Ryan Gosling was Canadian.
Oh, yeah.
Are you looking it up now?
Yeah, now I'm second guessing myself.
I
But
have no
I'm
idea.
like, oh, he's Canadian.
Ryan Reynolds is Canadian.
Yeah, so is Ryan Gosling. He's from, from London, Ontario.
Oh, that's very close.
Yeah, I thought I was like second guessing myself. The funny thing is, too, is if you Google anyone that is part of the main cast of Barbie or just type in Barbie on Google, everything changes to pink. It just becomes pink.
Nice.
Like it's because Google has those things. If you type in like certain things or like if you type in friends, there's a
Yeah,
little
it
like
knows.
couch emoji that pops up and that
It knows.
it knows.
The search engine is alive.
But yeah, I'm trying to think of the other Canadian.
But you're a big film person, so what's going on with Oppenheimer?
I've yet to see that one. I'm gonna be out to see it. Obviously, it's not making as much money as Barbie is.
I was never expecting it to.
Never. Yeah, people will be like, "Oh, I understand the whole hype between like, oh, this is the Mamma Mia versus Dark Knight kind of thing, right?" But the thing is that, which is ironic because Christopher Nolan did both of the films. Oppenheimer. The thing about it is that people who go to see Oppenheimer are there if they're interested in the subject matter, or if you're a fan of Christopher Nolan.
Yeah.
And the reason why I say that is because if you've ever seen a Christopher Nolan film, which would be the Dark Knight trilogy, Inception, I want to say he did Dunkirk. I don't know if that's right.
He did The Prestige.
Prestige, which is another big one. Pretty sure he did he did Dunkirk. He has his movies, and the thing about his movies is that you want to get the best experience about his films, you go see them in theaters.
Yeah, and the other thing is, well, this one is so specific, the aspect ratio of whatever. of
Shot
the
in
film.
IMAX.
I know. I was seeing shorts and TikToks about how your regular IMAX might not even be the right proper one for the film. You need to look for a specific version that IMAX has. So I'm not going out there.
The man does not mess around when it comes to
that's
films.
if like you're hardcore about
Yeah.
the film and how Nolan wants
Yeah.
you to experience film. I'm just going to a movie theater, man.
You're going to a movie theater and enjoy it. I get it.
I'm not going to go to an IMAX and find a specific.
No. Those are for like the hardcore. I'll just probably go to like the Laser Ultra, get that
I
experience.
just want to see the film, see how it is. 3 hours is a long time. Based on what I've read so far, it's the first 2 hours are pretty quick feeling, but the last hour apparently drags. Feels a little bit more draggy.
Which
So
reminds me, for those moviegoers and everything like that, there's an app that I found out a couple weeks ago, and it's a beautiful app. It's called RunP. RunP. And what it is you can download it for free. You type in a movie. Say you want to go see Oppenheimer, right? And you click on it, and it tells you what some people's reviews are, what IMDb says, Rotten Tomatoes. And this app works for everyone. And it tells you if there's anything extra. Is there any credit, like clips during extra, before or after the credits or whatever? And then the best thing about it is you click view pee times. And what it does is it tells you the best time to go pee during the movie. And you can set up a timer through the app to give you a notification.
Oh, like you're starting the movie and you're like...
You start the movie, you click the app to start, and it's timed directly perfect, and it gives you a 30-second timer being like, hey, you're good to go pee in 30 seconds. Apparently, this app has been around for about 13 years.
That's crazy.
And I just found out about this a couple weeks ago.
I might be using that.
And like it tells you, like the best times. There's 6 times during Oppenheimer that you can probably go pee. There's a couple times in Barbie, and it's literally just like before a montage happens or something like that.
Okay, so some like filler content that is not detrimental if you miss kind of idea.
Yeah, and I'm very curious actually where it tells you.
I'd be curious to pick some crazy nonstop feeling films and see where they decide.
That's why I'm looking at Across the Spider-Verse right now.
Which if you have not seen, we recommend.
Spider-Man says to Miguel, it's Peter. We have an anomaly. Miguel says, thanks, Peter. You're the one of our best. And then, and it just goes on. It tells you the exact same time to like why it's irrelevant because it's based on montage or like, this one does not advance, but the story does not advance much beyond a long chase scene. Yeah.
Okay. That's interesting.
There's only one scene in the P time. It has to do with Miles' relationship with his parents. I think the synopsis will summarize all you need to know.
Wow. Well, all right then.
Yeah, no, it's a genius.
Coming in clutch.
Genius app. Oh, I gotta know. Sorry, guys. I just gotta know what they say about the Flash.
The whole movie's a pee break because they're starting over the universe.
Most of the P time is a conversation about the dangers of time travel, stuff we've all heard before. If you're familiar with the events of Man of Steel, you can go to this P time.
Actually, fun fact about the Flash. Seems to be doing very well on services right now.
Yeah, because no one wanted to actually spend money on it.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the thing that these new streaming services have caused, though.
Yeah.
Right? People know, one, if you don't want to support Ezra Miller, why don't go to the theater and give them your money?
Plain and simple.
2 is we know the DC universe is starting over. A lot of people just assume, which was a fair assumption, that the Flash movie wasn't going to be that relevant, which is fair. And then another thing is that they're already paying for the service and it's coming to that service. Well, if it's not high on your priority list, the other thing is this summer, maybe you're busy doing other stuff. And you're like, hey, I'm going to be busy. I'm not going to go out of my way to see the Flash. I'll see it when it comes out. And although maybe didn't do so well box office wise, I feel like we've mentioned, you kind of could predict, but it is doing well on stream. Like it is getting lots of views on the streaming services now. So does that mean it's a good movie?
Nope.
Hard to say. How many of those people would see that movie if it wasn't coming to a streaming service as fast as it did?
Probably not a lot of them.
You sure though? I don't know. I feel like streaming service has cut a lot of audience numbers for films.
I do agree with that, but I think people still look at reviews when it comes to, especially to superhero movies.
I don't know. I feel like you say that, but superhero movies always get bad reviews for a lot of if you go to like Rotten Tomatoes, for example. It almost always seems like audience and critics are always against one another.
That's
right?
fair.
And it's which one do you take? You know, audience could say it's good, but maybe that's only because it's fun. If you're on a film, maybe that's what you want to see. But then critics could say it's bad, but maybe it is good. You enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And vice versa. Maybe a critic says it's good, and then you go and watch it, and you're like, this is boring. Because sometimes critics I know that's part of their job is to be a critic, but holy. Sometimes there are films that I definitely disagree with.
Oh, no, 100%. I get that.
So, I mean, it's interesting seeing that The Flash is doing well on streaming services for now.
Yeah, for now.
That could just be the people that were just, I'm not going to spend more money on this movie, but I do want to see it. Well, I don't know. We'll have to look into the numbers maybe 6 months from now. And
in a couple months, see
how much more popular is it? Like, are people still watching it? Do people care? Is it just died? Is it dead?
Yeah.
Is it dead in the water?
Dead in the water. Bye-bye.
As for books, I've started back up on the Percy Jackson grind because the goal was to finish it before the summer. So I'm gonna. August is gonna be a big Percy Jackson.
That's fair. Whereabouts are you?
I'm about halfway through the first book.
Okay.
And I think, based on my pacing, if I put time in it, I should be able to crank it out pretty quickly. The other thing when it comes to, we've discussed it, is I think we'll play me finishing Percy Jackson into our book adaptation.
Oh, yeah.
Which we've hinted at that we might do one. And I think maybe me and Matt off, we'll pick a couple other films/movies. Maybe we'll watch... I've never seen the Percy Jackson films. So,
that's what I'm mostly
So I'm going to watch them with Matt when I'm done.
And you can see how bad they are.
But maybe we'll do some other... Maybe we can rewatch the original series of Unfortunate Events.
Yeah. That's a treat. Those are easy reads, so...
Yeah, and just go through some... maybe we'll find a list and we'll just go through some of them.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot.
Could be pretty fun.
That'd be fun, yeah. Do an episode all about that.
We could do an episode of more in depth. Maybe we release a YouTube video per book.
And what we could do too is if you guys are interested in watching one of those movies with us because you're content,
we can do a watch together.
We could do a watch together through Discord, and just
come join us and we can watch a movie. It'll be a good time.
Be a fun time for sure.
Which reminds us to join us in our Discord and on social media. The link to our Linktree is in the description below. Feel free to join us. We are definitely posting more and more content on YouTube
and the TikTok. We got a little bit of everything, and hopefully by this time this episode comes out, the board game stuff will be started as well.
Yeah, so make sure to subscribe to our Play channel, where hopefully we'll have board games, deck builders, maybe some One Piece TCG, maybe some Pokemon.
There's a lot that's going to be out there eventually.
A lot of stuff that just falls a little out of the scope of the Nerdy Misfits in terms of the core content, but is still fun.
Exactly.
So if you want to see Matt, some of our friends having fun, playing just some games, just chilling, that is the place to be.
Exactly.
The Play channel. Check it out. But other than that, I don't think I've been manga-wise just kind of keeping up with some of the big things. Jujutsu Kaisen.
Yeah, some weeklies.
My Hero, One Piece, which has started back up.
Yep, after a month or
so for Oda. I think he had eye surgery.
Yep.
And man just kept up where he left off, and he's just releasing it feels like he's been going a straight year of just quality
content.
stuff.
100%.
Loving it. So if you're not caught up on the manga for One Piece, I once again highly recommend that you do. I know that it is very long. I know. Matt knows.
We all know. But it's worth it in the long run.
It do be worth it. As for what else is going on? Oh, Anime Club, we are, as of recording this, will be done Assassination Classroom, which everyone's enjoyed.
Good.
There doesn't seem to be really any complaints from the series. I think everyone has laughed, had fun. Definitely some characters they really like.
Mm-hmm.
So if you haven't seen it, highly recommend Ass Class. It's pretty fun. It's like on the edge of being like a gag manga at the same time. There is a little bit of fourth wall breaking. It's fun. Mm-hmm. It's a fun show for sure.
I'm at the exact point where I am in the manga as that I am in the show right now, which is the end of season 1.
End of season 1, okay.
Yeah, which is pretty much the halfway point. I mean, technically it is.
And that's the other thing I was trying to mention to some of the guys who we watched the show with. And the one thing that I think makes Ass Class both unique in a way, but also cool is if you look at it from an anime seasonal standpoint, it's 4 seasons, right? It's roughly 4 seasons of 12 episodes.
Yeah.
It's 2 seasons of like 24 and a 25 or 23 and a 25 episodes, something like that. But it's not very long, but it's also just long enough to tell a very solid story. Meaning you don't have to have 100 episodes, 100 plus episodes to tell this solid story. And another issue with a lot of anime is you watch 12 episodes and you never hear from it again for potentially ever, or maybe way later down the line where you don't care anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? And this show basically just, at the time, I think it was 2015. It went 2015 through to 2016. Just went, I think it maybe had one season in as a break.
Yeah.
And it just did those like 50 episodes.
Perfect.
And told the story and done. And it was a good story.
Yep.
Good show. And a complete story.
Yeah, didn't skip out anything that I know.
Well,
of.
just that it has a beginning and an end.
Yeah.
Which feels rare.
And a middle.
Which feels rare to have a lot of the time in the
Yeah.
in the anime sphere. Or you get the Attack on Titan treatment and just will we ever get to the end?
Or you get the Promised Neverland where they're like, oh yeah,
We're at the end.
We're at the end. Skip 6 arcs. Here you go. Bye.
We're at the end now. And you're just like, no.
You're like, but your first season was so good.
Yeah, that's a tough one. Tough one to swallow, I think.
For everyone.
Yeah, no, for sure. And like you said, you guys have been doing the Power Ranger RPG.
Yep.
D&D might be starting back up for us. So definitely some fun stuff. Also, golfing. I've have a couple courses lined up to be doing. As of recording, as the release of this, I would have gone 3 times now.
Oh, nice.
To different courses. So
that's awesome.
We'll see. Maybe I'll update.
Yeah.
Based on how those actually go, but I am
gonna be fun because I think
an awful golfer. I'm awful. So, aim for the slice. That's what I say. But yeah, we'll see how that goes. Something going, fun thing to do with some friends.
I think it's gonna be fun because we're stacking up on episodes right now. Because there's gonna be a couple week break on our personal lives. We need to stack up a little bit because both of us got some big things coming up.
Yep, big things.
So I think it's gonna be fun when we return to the podcast.
See whereabouts we are in some things.
A lot of
I have a feeling I'm gonna be in a lot of live action shows.
Yeah.
Deep.
And some Percy Jackson deep.
Percy Jackson. I'll be watching The Witcher, which I have been waiting to watch.
The final Henry Cavill season.
Yeah, that's kind of sad. Definitely very sad.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's definitely for us. It's going to be a busy August.
But stay tuned.
But definitely stay tuned. I'm excited for the rest of the year. I feel like we've hit a lot of the goals we've had for the summer.
For sure, we're definitely getting there.
I think one big thing we'll hopefully maybe do for the end of the summer celebration. I think maybe we try and have Tim on and do the Chip Trio.
Yep, that's a big plan.
It'll be a fun end to the summer madness that we've had.
Yeah.
But if you haven't gotten the chance, we asked our fans what they wanted from us in our anniversary episode.
Yep.
And I think we've been doing a good job.
I think so too.
I think maybe we could review the ep, see what we were missing, maybe start making some plans. But overall, we've been doing good. Matt and I have created a more structured plan for ourselves. That's helped a lot.
Yep.
It's, it doesn't seem like it's a hard thing to just make videos.
It is when we both have a lot. Like, this is our...
I think it becomes harder when it's 2 of us.
Yep.
We cover a pretty large amount of content.
Correct.
I feel like one day we're talking about an MCU movie, the next we're talking about the One Piece live action,
random food
and
episode.
After that we're talking about card games.
Yeah.
So we're
all over the map.
We're very all over the map, which doesn't help
narrow
things down because we're very passionate about the things we like.
Exactly, 100%.
So, and we're not gonna, we don't want to hold back. No, so we're gonna cover those things. And we've come up with a little bit more of an organizer towards our chaos. So,
heck yeah.
You've obviously seen a lot more content coming out on the YouTube, which was one of our big goals, was YouTube content.
Yep.
/short content. Honestly, hopefully, we're just building from that from now on.
I think we are. I think we're doing pretty good.
I think we're doing pretty good. We'll check out that episode and hopefully we can release some more stuff that some of our fellow Misfits recommend.
Heck yeah.
But other than that, do we have any questions, Matt?
I don't think we do. Not that I can see.
Okay. Then I have a fun question for you.
Ruh-roh.
I'm going to pull up a timer.
Oh, this is going to end terribly for me.
So let's
with pressures.
Let's play our end of episode intro to question, and when we come back, we'll get into this. All right. So, finish this episode off. I thought we could do a little fun challenge for you, Matt.
Where Matt goofs it up. All right, let's hear it.
So, we'll do this in 45 seconds.
Okay.
Starting from A, going to Z/Z, if you can get there. I don't think you will be able to. I wouldn't be able to get there.
It depends on the topic. I'm scared now.
I want you to give me titles of anime. A to Z. 45 seconds. Tell me when you're ready.
Okay. Should I be like typing them out as I go? Like,
no, just say them to me.
Okay. Okay.
3, 2, 1, go.
A would be Assassination Classroom. B would be Berserk. C, I'm already like Classroom of the Elite.
Okay.
Okay. D, Dan to Dan is not one. Yeah, that's not anime yet, right? That's a manga, Darwin's Game.
Darwin's Game. Okay, nice.
E, that one is a little bit harder for me. Which seems like there's probably... The thing is, like, you say the letter and you're like, oh, there's a super obvious one. For E... I'm drawing a blank.
15 seconds.
15 seconds left?
Yep.
Oh my gosh, this is already panicking, eh? E, I can't think of one. That's rough for me. Yeah, I'm drawing a blank on E. But you know what? I'm content with like 5 or 6. Yeah, I got nothing else.
All right. 45 seconds. Got up A, B, C, D. No E.
4. It's fine. Did you have one for E?
Me for E?
Yeah.
No, I haven't thought of one. I was just enjoying watching you struggle. I'm not gonna lie.
I was like trying to think ahead too. That was the thing. I was like, okay, if I got this letter, then I got this letter. I'm like, but E.
It's hard thinking off the spot.
Yeah.
But I thought that was a little clever
little test. All right.
Fun little thing we could do at the end.
Oh yeah, erased.
Oh, erased. Yeah. See, there are
Evangelion.
just easy ones.
Well, I mean, I think that's Neon Genesis, but
yeah. I mean, since you were struggling, I feel like Evangelion would have been acceptable.
Elfen Lied.
Elfen Lied, yeah.
Elfen Lied, yeah. Okay, I got 4. You know what? We'll in a couple of weeks when we record, ask me again. I'll be more prepared. 45 seconds. Bet. Except you'll just have to change the.
Oh, you want me to just randomly ask you another time? I mean, you could always pass this on question. We'll just do it out of the blue, so that way.
But we'll have the topic changed. Like it'd be like Marvel characters.
Trust me, I feel like I could ask you 2-3 weeks from now the same question, and you might even struggle on D. You never know.
I don't even remember what I said for D.
Darwin's
Game. Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking Durara.
Durara, that would have been a good one, yeah.
But yeah, okay. Other than that, guys, thanks for watching, listening to another episode of the Nerdy Misfit podcast. We are super excited and happy to have you here on the island with us.
Yeah.
Feel free to check out all our socials and join us in our Discord where you can ask questions in the question corner that we will once again answer at the end of every podcast that we can.
Heck yeah.
Until then, we'll see you guys next week. Have a good one.
Bye.
TNMP, the Nerdy Misfit Podcast. Don't forget to join the island by dropping a follow. Thank you, and see you next week.
It's just 45 seconds of you struggling. This is gonna be 45 seconds of your cheap going like this.